Hello there, people of the internet. So, this is kind of a legendary video because this is one that I've wanted to do for so long. And I've wanted one of these for so long. This is an 1873 Trapdoor Springfield rifle. A lot of you guys already know what this is, and if you're watching this video, like I said, odds are you're a gun guy and you've already seen one of these before. I have wanted one of these for a very long time. Well, I just so happened to find one, and it had a screaming deal on it. So I decided to go ahead and pick it up. This is chambered in 4570. I did already fire it to see where it would shoot, and we'll talk about that here in a second. All right, before we really get started, I want to go ahead and say thanks for watching, but the stuff that I'm doing here is not cheap. This right here is an expensive rifle, and this right here is not cheap ammunition. So I want to say thank you to what few Patreon supporters I have. If you would like to consider assisting me with the work that I do and helping me make future content, consider checking out both Utreon and Patreon, links in the description below. I wanted to test it for functionality. These are black powder rifles. You can use smokeless loads for these right here, like there's specialty loads that you can make specifically for 4570 trapdoors. That is safe to fire in these systems, but I have genuine 4570 black powder loads. These are made to fire a 405 grain bullet. I do not have 405 grain bullets, so I did have to kind of finesse myself some ammunition here, but it does work. So whenever I tell people about these rifles, I tell them essentially, now let me elaborate on this before you go typing in the comments, you're dead wrong, it's not that at all. Well, whenever I talk to people who don't know anything about these, I tell them essentially it's a Civil War musket that's been converted to take cartridges back at the breech. And that's like the easiest way to get people to kind of like begin to comprehend what this thing essentially is. So, a little bit of history behind these rifles. And I'll tell you guys what this is and why I tell people the things that I tell them about it. Originally, after the Civil War, the United States government was really beginning to see that cartridge guns were the way of the future. And having a rifle where you gotta pour the powder in and then put a patch and then you ball and then you grab your ramrod, you ram it home, and then you bring it back over here and you cap it off, and you know, then you have yourself one shot. You get maybe, if you're having expert, like 3 shots every minute with one of those, and they're just not very efficient at all. So after the Civil War, the United States government was really starting to see, you know, maybe this is not the best solution for what we have going on here. So they had a surplus of their Civil War muskets, 1861 Springfield rifles, and what they did was they essentially just kind of cut a little hole back here in the very end of the breech of the rifle. And they added this little hinge system, and I actually have a cartridge inside of here, so whenever I open this up, it's gonna fling that out. Added this little hinge system that essentially served as a breech that you could open up from the back, as opposed to having like a solid breech that could not be opened up at all for, you know, muzzleloaders or whatnot. They added this hinge system breech, this trapdoor style breech, and all you do is whenever you open this up, you shove a cartridge into the back of the rifle, then you close it, and it still, Lee's original conversion still had all the same workup of the original Springfield muskets. Originally, these were a rimfire round. I think they were a 58 caliber, if memory serves me correctly. After they, you know, converted a bunch of those to 58 caliber rimfire, they converted even more of them, like whenever they figured out, yeah, this is what we want to do, converted even more of them to a 50 caliber. They sleeved the barrel down from 58, I think it was 58 caliber, down to a 50 caliber. Then they had center fire. It was 50-70 center fire cartridge black powder that they were using. Well, eventually it got to the point to where they decided, you know, 50-70, you know, powerhouse of a round, but we want something that can hit out, you know, at further distances than that. So they adopted the 4570, which is a little bit, ballistically speaking, a little bit more capable and a little bit more flat shooting than the 5070 would have been. Now, they liked this system so much that even after they had converted a bunch of the muskets, they actually started making these trapdoor rifles basically from scratch, you know, not converting already existing rifles. They did use like already existing parts and whatnot for some of these rifles, because if they have them, you know, in stockpiles, there's no reason why they shouldn't make them. But they did make a bunch of these rifles from scratch in 1873 versus just having the 50, 70 conversion sleeve barrel rifles that they had originally come from. So that is why I tell people essentially it's a Civil War musket that's been converted to take a cartridge firing gun without standing here and explaining to them, you know, the vast history behind the rifles. Because this rifle, its design originated from converted muskets. So the United States government just liked it so much that they decided to keep it. And it's just a single shot breech loading rifle, and it really does look like a musket. It definitely has that same aesthetic to it. So right back here, like I said, I've already fired this thing. Open it up and it will actually pop a cartridge out just like that. Oh, whew, black powder. Smells like rotten eggs. And then if you manage to have more ammunition, you'll just take your round, and right here you'll drop it into the back of the breech, push it forward, and then you'll just kind of close the breech down on top of that. Now whenever that happens, originally to actually get into the system, you'll have to half cock the hammer because the hammer actually holds the breech closed. Not the strongest system, but for black powder, that is more than efficient enough. After you reload and close up your system and everything, you cock your hammer back to full cock, and then you can go ahead, take aim, shoot at your target. Now, talking about where this thing's hitting. The sights on this, the reason why I got this at the deal that I got it at was because the sights on here are bent, and yeah, those sights are not gonna be zeroed, not the way that we want them. So these sights are probably zeroed out to like 600 yards right now just because they are bent. So this gun does shoot exceptionally high, and they are canted to the right, so we're not exactly shooting center either, but I think I have it figured out enough to be able to shoot my target. I do intend to actually replace this and get legitimate sights, or maybe if I can manage to bend these sights back to where they're supposed to be, but these sights are really messed up. But I'll probably be able to bend those sights back to where they're supposed to be. The actual leaf spring for the sight as well is also broken. This rifle, this particular one right here, is dated 1882, so it does get a pass. It's a little on the ancient side. But without further ado, let me go ahead and aim ridiculously under the target here, and we'll see if we hit it. Oh, we hit it! That's a center shot right there. But look at all the black powder going everywhere. All right, so center shot on this, like I said, I think I have this pretty much roughly figured out, at least at the 40 yards that we're at right now. I bet if I took this out to further distances, I'd probably have some trouble hitting my target. But we just shot. Now we can open that up. That'll eject the previous round, which I'm going to collect because this is reloadable 4570, and since I'm using black powder, this brass case ammunition will basically last indefinitely. And then after that, you just kind of drop another cartridge in there, close your breech, bring it back to full cock, take aim, and fire again. Oh, fuck that target. I tell you what, that target has been shot with so much stuff over the years. It's been shot with like 2 centuries worth of history. Non-stop. Man, this is a sweet rifle. This might be my new favorite rifle. My God, because hold on, this is my favorite part. Ah, that's nice. You know what? I have 1 shot left. I don't have my camera stand out here, but I'm gonna walk out to 100 yards, like I'm gonna leave you guys here, and let's just see if we hit it. Now, like I said, you guys aren't gonna be able to see me. I'm gonna be way over there. You guys are gonna stay here because I don't have a camera stand. I just kind of have this camera leaned against my tree. So I will be right back. I'm gonna go spray paint my target, and we'll see if I can't hit that son of a bitch from 100 yards, because I'm making center shots now. Took me a little while to figure out where these bent sights were gonna be hitting, but I did figure it out. Took some Kentucky windage, but I got it. Okay, well, you guys go ahead and wait right here. I will be right back. I'm gonna walk out to 100 yards, and we're gonna see if I can smack that son of a bitch from all the way over there. All right, let me walk down there and see if I'm gonna be disappointed or really excited. 100 yards, really fucked up sights. Honestly, I'd be amazed if I actually hit it. I'll be damned. I did hit it. How do you like that? Man, it takes a special kind of stupid to be able to shoot a rifle with fucked up sights like this. So I freshly painted the target, right? So fresh coat of paint. This right here was not there. It looks like we hit probably somewhere in the steel right here. This is just, you know, lead ammunition, so it's not gonna punch through this piece of metal that I have holding up this piece of metal, but this was not there. So we hit just about right there, and seeing as I was aiming like over here, that's incredible. You know, I just dropped my camera and my 1873 Springfield just caught it for me. Already being a buddy, I tell you what. Okay, favorite part. Half cock that bastard. Oh, that's nice. And if I had more ammo, I'd load it up and continue to fire it. Man, I can't believe I made that shot. Because I mean, these are so bent that if I pop them up out of the little ears, I guess, the little protective ears that are protecting the rear sight, they're so bent that they won't even close past that. I gotta like beat them down in there and kind of mushroom them in there and see if I can begin to manage. God, those are really fucked up. How the hell did I manage to hit that thing at 100 yards? That's incredible. Now, 45-70, that's a 45 caliber with 70 grains of black powder behind it. Like I said earlier, it's supposed to be firing a 405 grain bullet, but I don't have 405 grain bullets in the loadings that I was using, so I did have to finagle it with a little bit. But I did discover that these cases do in fact hold a complete total of 70 grains of black powder. Like, you cannot fill this any more than 70 grains of black powder. So legitimately, these, like, I was a little worried that loading them with a smaller projectile would mean I'd have to load more black powder and I wouldn't be able to get the loading that I was wanting. I wanted to use 70 grains of black powder in a 45-70, not quite to the exact standards that were used back in the day, but I wanted that 70 grains of black powder to be able to push the projectiles I was using, right? But it turns out, if you fill this completely with black powder, that is exactly 70 grains of black powder, and then the 405 grain bullet, you would just squish that down into there. Now, like I said, you can load this with smokeless powder, and by all means, if that's what you want to do, you then don't have to clean your rifle, but cleaning a freaking black powder rifle, especially a single shot one like this, incredibly easy, incredibly simple. Like literally, I just have a funnel, I put the funnel into the barrel, I pour hot water down the barrel, that cleans out most of it, and then I get a rod with some kind of muzzle loading cleaner. It's pink, I can't remember the name of it, but then I just run a rod through the barrel right here just to get up all the leftover crap that might still be there. I think I just take that rag with maybe a little bit of oil and whatnot, and I'll clean up all back here. Just, I mean, it really does not take long at all to clean up black powder. And I don't have to worry about specialty loading for the 45-70 because I can just use black powder, and black powder is not going to damage this gun at all, whereas a wrong loading with smokeless powder absolutely could damage this gun. And the entire reason why I wanted a Trapdoor Springfield was so I could enjoy the historical significance of the Trapdoor Springfield. And that's not something that you're going to get if you're loading with smokeless powder, because these are black powder rifles, and my God, are they beautiful black powder rifles. Honestly, I am amazed that I still have the original cleaning rod / ramrod on this thing. Whenever I had picked this thing up, or rather I ordered it online, or rather I won it at an auction, it was a sight unseen rifle, and I was not expecting to have a ramrod with it, or a cleaning rod with it, with the amount of money that I had actually paid for it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you ever so much for watching. I adore this rifle. Like, I really, really enjoy this rifle. And by God, after I get myself some appropriate ammunition and fix those sights to where I can, you know, fundamentally use it accurately, I'm taking this hunting, and you better expect I'm going to be eating me something that I've killed with this rifle. Of course, having hell, who the hell knows what this rifle has killed, what it's seen, what it's done. It's from 1882, is that what I said earlier? Yeah, it says... looks like SHP 1882. That's what it has stamped on the side of the receiver here. I was expecting it to be heavier. Like, this is not a very heavy rifle. Normally with old guns like this, they're like extremely heavy, but this is really not heavy at all. Okay. But with being made in 1882, Oh, Nelly. With being made in 1882, there's a lot of things that this rifle has seen and done, I'm sure. And this is something that you would hang over your fireplace, dude. Like, this is one hell of a rifle. Man, I am so pleased with it. I'm so happy I finally got my hands on one of these. Thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. I'm just going to sit here and continue to ramble on about this. So instead of doing that, I'm actually going to... Oh, there's a U on this this barrel band. Any other markings on there? Nope, just a U right there. So what was I saying? I think I was doing the outro. Thanks for watching, folks. I do appreciate your time. I'm going to go reload some more ammunition for this and see if I can fix those sights up best that I can. If I can't manage that, because they are pretty messed up, I'm probably just going to go get myself another set of sights. 1873 Trapdoor Springfield sights or something that you can still find. And I already have the sights that I have here, so if it doesn't come with pins or something, I'll be able to just swap that out, no problem. Or hell, maybe maybe I'll be able to fix these sights. I bet I can if I like take my time and really work with them. Anyway, subscribe to the channel, like the video. Description down below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go ahead and go check that out. I am literally, like, after I'm done with this, gonna go reload these brass cartridges that I have right here. Gonna go reload these and probably shoot this thing some more. I'm going to shoot it until I risk overpressuring it from black powder fouling. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day, and thanks for watching. I genuinely mean that.
Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. The poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.